Welcome back folks, my name's Shane. In today's video I'm going to try and pick my 5 favorite guitars from my current electric guitar lineup, and we're also going to hear them in this video. Over the last few years, anytime I purchase an instrument now, I'm thinking about it more long term or I don't buy it. It's just one of those things. If I can't envision myself keeping it or wanting to then upgrade it at a later date, I don't buy it. Now some of these guitars on the list might actually be ones that were bought prior to that kind of train of thought, but they've stood the test of time, so they also may make this list. As always, I'll leave links to any of these guitars in the description. If you can find them in your part of the world, there'll be links to Thomann and Sweetwater down there. So this isn't going to be easy, and this could also change over time. If I was to do this next month, my top 5 might change, but as of right now, you've probably seen I've been playing a lot of the same guitars on the channel, and there's a reason why. So we're going to start with what might be the best guitar in my collection, at least in my opinion. And I think, from what I understand looking at the comments, a lot of people like this one as well. So the first guitar on this list is arguably my favorite guitar in the collection. This is my Gibson Flying V. As a lefty and as a huge fan of Albert King and many other Flying V players like Michael Burks as well, I've always wanted a great Flying V. Gibson finally delivered the goods and released one, I think last year. Was this a 2019? It was 2019, and I picked this up probably about a year or so ago, and it's just been absolutely awesome in many different ways. One of the things I really love about it is the fact this is loaded with burst bucket pickups. These pickups sound so great, and I think they're the best sounding humbuckers of any humbucker guitar I've ever owned. Another great thing about it is it's extremely light. The only small downside to a Flying V is the fact that you can't really play them sitting down without having the guitar strap on, and even then you've kind of got to banjo it, which I'm not a huge fan of doing. But I love this guitar's simplicity. I love that it's lightweight. It plays great. I've done no modifications or tweaks to this straight out of the box. It just played phenomenally. So this has been probably my favorite guitar since I purchased it, tone-wise, feel-wise. Dynamics-wise, you turn down, it does all the great things that a good pickup should do, and it just feels and plays awesome. So I'm going to say this would be my first of the 5 on this list. Second on the list is the Fender 52 reissue Telecaster. Now, this is probably the #1 most known guitar on my channel when it comes to what people think of when they think of the In the Blues channel. They think of me and this guitar. I played this extensively for years. This was the first Telecaster that made me love Telecasters. Up until then, I'd always seen the same Squires and Mexican Standards in a lefty, which are fine instruments, but they're not like this. This is a really nice instrument. And over the years, I've modded it and changed it up and made it my own. Now, if I was forced to choose between this and the Fender American original one, which I have, which is arguably a nicer guitar to play in terms of its neck shape, that has the largest neck of any of my guitars, and I love playing it, I would still probably choose this. I was thinking about this last night. Just the sentimental attachment of buying this in San Francisco, having the Joe Barden pickups, changing up the switch plate here, and just doing all the mods, the stainless steel frets. I would have a hard time ever getting rid of this. The Joe Barden, Danny Gatton pickups sound like single coils without any buzz, and they do all the good stuff, but they handle overdrive a lot better too. So I think this is a much more practical instrument, and just based on all the gigs I've done with it and traveled with it overseas and done lots of stuff with it, it would be hard for me to get rid of this. So I'm putting this in as the second guitar. Third on the list is a guitar that I haven't been playing too much lately, but every time I pick it up and play it, I'm always shocked just how great it sounds. Now this is an Australian-made guitar from Little Crow Guitars called the Corvino SD. Now the SD, believe it or not, is my initials. So yeah, I had some input into the functionality and design aspect of this. I mean, Little Crow did all the work, right? But I had a little bit of say into kind of the concept of it, but they did all of this nice work. And this one in particular is like the prototype that they got right. It's been modded since then. It's now got locking tuners on the back of the headstock, as you can see there as well. And it also has a different shaped neck. And the original one, I think, had a black painted neck, but this one looks so much better. This feels great in the hand, and it's a great mix of a Telecaster, kind of like a Nick Huber inspired design as well, which is another one of my favorite brands. And it also has the F holes here as well, and the sustain on this is great. Having these two pickups in the guitar is a great point of difference too. We get the mini humbucker, which is bright and chirpy, and then we get the tele pickup, but these are matched in output. So if you switch between them, it doesn't sound like one's way louder than the other or anything like that. And it's just a really great pairing from Briley pickup. So Little Crow guitar coming in at number 3. It's a guitar I don't play enough, and I should have to remedy that coming up pretty soon. Over to number 4, and this is really tough for me to do. I'm looking through my guitars thinking, oh, I should put that in, I should put that in. So there might be an honorable mention at the end there or something, but as of right now, number 4 has to go to this. This is my PRS SE Custom 24. That's right, it's an SE. It's not one of the, you know, the high-end $10,000 PRSs or anything like that. You could probably tell from the finish. The Trampus green looks a little bit different on the SEs than it does to, say, a made in the US one. But this is one of the ones that are made in Korea, and from what I've been able to attain from playing both these and the Indonesian ones, these just play better. The switches feel better. There's still a few things about this that I don't like I'll never use the push-pull pot, so I think I'm going to rip that system out. And I actually love these pickups, by the way, but I'm thinking of testing out another set of humbuckers in here at some point, just to see what they sound like and how they respond. That's not to say these pickups won't go back in, because I love this guitar. One of the best things about it is just how playable it is, all the way up the neck. It feels so nice to play. This is my number 1 gigging guitar a lot of the time, because I can get all the tones out of this that I was unable to get from any straight up humbucker guitar. The Flying V's about as close to perfect humbucker tone as I could get. This is about a close second in my opinion. And I love the fact these humbuckers aren't dark and muddy. When you turn down, it cleans up beautifully. You still have all of that top end there, but just the fact that 24 frets, man. Every time I do the Basin Festival, which is a local festival here, I take this because it's so reliable. Tuning reliability wise, feel I can always get up and play up to the end of the fretboard. The tremolo arm works. This was another guitar that actually made me love the trem. As I mentioned before, this is a PRS SE. This is probably the least, or one of the least expensive guitars on this list. And what can I tell you? It just plays and feels great. I have no plans on getting rid of this. Like I said, if I do mod it with some different humbuckers just to see what happens, you know, who's to say these won't be going back in? Because I love the sound of this. I almost don't want to do it, but I thought I'd give it a shot and we'll see how we go. Coming in on the 5th position and the final position is this. This is the Kiesel S6. Now this might shock you that this made the list ahead of some of my other guitars if you know the kind of guitars I already have. So I'm going to add a couple of honorable mentions after this as well, because I really love some of the instruments in my collection. It's really hard to put these lists together, but this is really unique, which is why it makes the list. It also makes the list just through its feel, its design, all the good things. Like Kiesel was a brand I really knew nothing about. I only knew that they were like loved by metal players, and that's fine. I'm just not a metal player, right? So this particular neck feels amazing. It's the, I think they call it the double wide or something like that. So it is fatter than what you would normally expect from a Kiesel instrument. This also has the Johnny Highland pickups and switching system. So you can get a combination of neck and bridge like you can on a Telecaster in that middle position, or you can get middle on its own as well. The only sacrifice is you don't get these two together. So you get neck, you get these two, you get middle, you get these two, and then you get bridge, which is awesome. So it's kind of like the best mix of a Strat and a Telecaster I've ever played. And I've played a lot of guitars over the years, especially Jerry's Lefty guitars that are either T-style in their nature or it's kind of like a Strat Tele hybrid. This has just been the best, and it's super light. It feels great to play. The tuning reliability is probably the best out of any of my instruments. Even though it's got the locking tuners, it just doesn't go out of tune, this thing. It is so good. The tremolo arm works well. The Johnny Highland pickups sound fantastic. So for the kind of tones I like, where I like a neck pickup on a Tele to sound more like a Strat, this has it. But you can also get your typical Tele tones on bridge, or this combination of neck and bridge together. The tremolo system actually works as well. So it stays in tune. It's a simple guitar. It feels and it absolutely still smells new. So that's the 5 guitars I'm using most of the time. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this order could switch, or I could add a few extras in, which I'm gonna do now. This is a bit of a cop-out, I know. But there's 2 guitars I'm playing a lot that I just wanna quickly share with you. This is my Fender American Original Stratocaster. I'm gonna have this until I can't play guitar anymore. This is a really beautiful instrument. I highly suggest checking these out. If you're looking for a custom shop style guitar without that price, this is really spectacular. In terms of the Fender Strats I've owned over the years, this is by far the best. And on any given day, I could slot this in if I'm in that Stratocaster mood. And lastly, I just want to show you this guitar as well, as I'm playing this probably more than I'm playing my Fender Strat. This is the Vola Oz. This particular instrument totally blew me away. It came in for a review and I was allowed to hold on to it and I was blown away. This particular instrument is like a vintage Strat. It's got the biggest, fattest, best neck I've played in a long time, but it's also got the modern appointments. Obviously the shape might not be for everybody if you're a Strat purist, but this instrument I like more than their Tele. It just feels better in my hand and I like the tones. And I also really dig this bridge humbucker pickup, and nearly every position on this guitar is hum cancelling because of those in-between positions. So you only really get neck and middle that buzz. The rest of them don't buzz. You get those hum cancelling positions, and overall it's just a point of difference from that classic Strat, which is why this won't be going anywhere. This is such a beautiful instrument. I'm going to hold on to both of these Strats for a very long time. Now, I know I'm not alone when it comes to this. I'm sure if you've got more than one guitar, you're picking up one more than the other. So let us know in the comments either how many guitars you've got and which one you're playing the most. It'd be interesting to see where most people's heads are at when it comes to their instruments. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.